Welcome back to Flying Dutchman Cards and our next episode of the 1989 Topps Retrospective. Today, my brother Doug joins me again, and we talk through the Manager's subset. So we got 26 cards, one per team. So let's take a look and check it out now. All right. So next subset we have is the Manager card. So this is obviously, basically one Manager card per team. And so not a whole lot to the design, but what are your thoughts just about the very basic design of these?
Yeah, I mean, I like how it's integrating, the curve and kind of adding an additional element. It definitely fits, but it also denotes that it's something a little different. I feel like they could have used this similarly for maybe like the leaders or something, where one of the designs that maybe not has been as cohesive, they could have used this one elsewhere,
right?
Because I like it. But yeah, I mean, again, it's just kind of adding a subtle little design element that's a little different,
Yeah.
But denotes that it's a manager.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they would have done that with the position.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They could have done that, but again, do you put the whole name, outfielder, or do you just put OF or
right?
That type of thing. So I think for the Manager cards, it works. It's interesting, like Manager cards, because I think it's on some. I'm sure, like some of these people, like my dad, would have probably known, because he collected with us, so he would have known these players. Some of these guys were players when he was a kid,
right?
But then looking at, as a kid opening these up, you're like, oh, great, I got a Don Zimmer.
Yeah. Or like the Don Zimmer is like, that's like the best one to get, right? And then the other ones are just like, oh, Halamier, awesome, cool. Like, is he even the manager anymore? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, like Sparky Anderson is like, okay, like, yeah, Sparky Anderson, but like, and LaRussa, but it's like
LaRussa was ready. Like, I can also play.
Yeah.
If you need me, I'm limber. I'm running everything's
right.
That's just go for Sparky Anderson. It is interesting to realize that some of these managers played in an era with the old timey people, or that is an amazing photo.
This would be even better if he had, like, if he was smoking a cigarette. Like,
it looks like he just put it down for the photo. He's like, all right, you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm back.
that was like the strangest thing as a kid. I mean, because like in the 80s, like smoking was still like around way more than it is. I mean, like on international flights, you could still smoke, like, in restaurants, there's a smoking section. I mean, so it was like much more common. But I just remember watching like the 1990 playoffs, and it's like, oh yeah, Jim Leyland's just smoking in I'm like, wait, you could just smoke in the dugout of a sporting event? I mean, it's like, I can't imagine a football coach smoking on the sidelines, like, you know what I mean, or definitely not like
it wouldn't be a cigarette, it'd be a cigar probably.
Right. Yeah.
So or like a pipe.
Yeah, because I guess there's some, like Vincent Lombardi, I feel like always had a cigar, but he was always just like chewing on it, like he wasn't actually like smoking it. But just like Jim Leyland, like, like lighting up in the, because it's like a player would never do that, but
classic. This would be a great one to also like superimpose the glasses and the costume from when he came back in the dugout as a Mets manager.
Yeah, that's awesome. About that, I feel like he's underrated. He went to Japan and like won. It was either Japan or Korean. I think it was Japan. Won like the Japan series a bunch of times, and had a pretty good career. So Tom Troublehorn, John Watham. This one's funny. Well, A for two, because there's total like flash. Like, echo on the thing.
I was gonna.
It's just like what, like, but he's got the
night game
on it. So so that's helpful.
it's interesting. Like it look, there. It's a lot of these photos are kind of either they're trying to get like a candid one in the dugout, or it's like a kind of a posed one.
Right.
I don't know what the best. It's kind of
Right.
difficult. Like,
What is the manager doing? It's like,
yeah, it's like some of these are just kind of hit or miss. Some of them look like, oh, it's cool. This one is hilarious because it looks like Pete Rose is looking at the scoreboard and he's like, I'm not going to cover the spread today.
right. Yeah.
Maybe I need to pitch hit for myself.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this is his last. I'm pretty sure this is his last baseball card, because I mean, like his last card of when he was active. His last card is an active member of Major League Baseball, because he got suspended in '89. So, and I'm pretty sure, the other sets didn't have him in it, but so Doc Edwards.
If you go back to Pete Rose too.
Yeah.
It's interesting that I feel like I was reading something about this, about rumors of him being traded, and so you have a picture here where it's not. It'd be easy at that point to maybe change the colors or
right.
There's nothing reds that you're seeing on his hat or his jersey or something like that. Right. So there were, even back then, there was like Photoshop touch-up type things that they were doing, and I read something about how they were trying to, by using this picture, they could swap it out later on or something like that. So just interesting stuff like that.
That's cool. Doc Edwards looks like he's got like a Sharpie.
He's ready to crunch some numbers.
Right. Russ Nixon. This is before Bobby Cox for the Braves, so he would have got canned at some point.
All of these guys got fired.
Right. Yeah. Eventually they all got fired. Jimmy Williams. Whitey Herzog. He played actually back in the day. I have a 1959 card of his. And he actually signs autographs, so I might try to send. I'm going to try to send his out, get his sign. The interesting part about this, whenever I'm designing something, I always like when you have to do a series of them. I always pick one that I'm like, oh, this looks so cool with the Braves. Like, look how much space it has, and da da da. And it's awesome. Yeah. And then I get to this and be like, ooh, I didn't make that font. You know what I mean?
I just move it over a little bit and try to make sure.
Like I should have. Start the design on like both extremes rather than just like in the middle, because at some point you get caught. But
nice.
So, David Johnson.
I like that there's a healthy dose of this like satin starter jackets.
Right.
Which was kind of a unique design aesthetic for that time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could get, once you get into like the 2000s, you get the jackets with like weird things down the sleeves and like then you just went to hoodies and stuff. That might have been like the apex of manager jerseys and stuff. You just have like team color, team logo. Got the stripes on the collar, stripes on the sleeves. Just a nice looking.
Yeah. Well, and those. I mean, I feel like I remember going to this, the sporting good place. I guess it'd be the sports apparel store at the mall. And just like oogling over the starter jackets. I remember like specifically. Well, because in 1990 the Reds went to the World Series, so then I was a Reds fan because they won the World Series. But there's like a black satin Reds jacket that like every single time I walked in, I was like, I want that jacket. It would be so cool. And it was like like $80 or something. It's just like some crazy amount. It's like I'm never gonna be able to afford this, but
you would have definitely gotten beat up for that jacket.
Oh yeah. It's like.
Or people might have thought you would have beaten them up because you were wearing a black Reds jacket.
Yeah. So, but that's kind of the crazy part, to think that in Bellingham, Washington, they were selling like not like just the standard. You know, the standard would be the reds.
Yeah.
They were selling like the off, you know, the alternate color reds starter jacket.
Yeah.
You know, was a hot commodity. You know, in the late 80s. So that's awesome.
Managers.
You
got to include them, I guess.
Yeah.
That's Topps motto.
Yes.
I guess we got to put them in there.
Roger Craig, you get a card too. How are we going to get the 7 value?
So. Roger Craig, was he like crankety guy from the Yankees?
No. What do you mean?
Just cut this part out.
Like, yeah, we lost it.
All right, that wraps up our look back at the managers subset. Post a comment below of what manager do you think was the most unenthused to get their photo taken the day that Topps was there. There's a lot to choose from. Not a lot of them look like they were super excited, but post who you think below, and we'll see what you guys have to say. Next up, we've been waiting for this one, and I know you've been waiting for it, is we're going to be looking at the checklists. So could be the most boring episode ever, but we make it fun. So stay tuned for that, and thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.